You know that feeling? That kind of low-grade dissatisfaction with life? That sense that even when things are good, something's just not quite right? Well, it turns out the teachings of the Buddha can be seen as a timeless diagnosis for this exact human condition. And today, we're going to break it all down.
So what if that feeling wasn't just something you had to put up with? What if it was actually a treatable condition? For this explainer, we're going to look at the Buddhist teachings through this incredible metaphor of him as a great doctor for the ills of the world. We'll go through his whole process, the symptom he identified, his diagnosis of the cause, the cure he promised, and finally, the prescription he wrote for all of us.
All right, first things first. Any good doctor starts by identifying the symptom, right? For the Buddha, the universal symptom of being human, the thing we all share, is captured in one single, profound Pali word, dukkha.
Now, when most people hear dukkha, they immediately think suffering. And honestly, that's why Buddhism sometimes gets a reputation for being pessimistic. But that translation, it's just not the whole picture. The meaning is so much more nuanced. It's not just about obvious pain. It's about the deep, built-in unsatisfactoriness of a life where everything is always changing. It's that feeling that even the best moments can't last.
So to help us get it, the Buddha actually broke dukkha down into 3 types. First, there's the one we all know, ordinary suffering. Physical pain, mental anguish, you know the drill. The second is a little more subtle. It's the suffering that comes from change. That little sting when a happy moment ends. That's it. But the third one, this one's the real mind-bender. It's the idea that our very existence, as a temporary collection of constantly changing parts, is itself fundamentally unsatisfying.
So then, what is this being that's experiencing all this dukkha? This is where it gets really interesting. The teaching says that what we call a self isn't some solid, unchanging soul. It's actually just a combination of these 5 ever-changing processes, or aggregates. Think of it like a car. It's a collection of parts, wheels, engine, seats that work together. But there's no single carness floating around in there. We're like that. We're a process, not a permanent thing.
And this quote, wow, it gets right to the heart of this idea of no self. Mere suffering exists, but no sufferer is found. What that means is that dukkha isn't happening to some fixed, permanent you. Instead, suffering is more like a weather pattern, an impersonal process that arises and then passes away, just like every other thought and feeling we experience. Okay, so if dukkha is the symptom, what's the diagnosis? What's the root cause? The second noble truth is where the doctor tells us exactly what's making us sick.
The cause is something called tanha. The word literally translates to thirst or craving. And we're not just talking about wanting a cup of coffee. This is a deep, relentless, painful grasping. It's the craving for pleasure, the craving for our own existence to continue, the craving for our ideas to be right. It is the very engine that keeps us running around in circles of dissatisfaction.
And this thirst isn't just a simple thing. There's the obvious craving for sense pleasures. But then there's a deeper thirst, the thirst to be somebody, to have a solid identity. And maybe the most surprising one, there's even a thirst for non-existence, that desire to just escape it all, which, it turns out, is just another form of intense craving.
And here's the crucial connection. This thirst links directly to karma. Now, the Buddha defined karma not as some cosmic fate, but simply as volition, as intentional action. So, this thirst, this constant willful desire and grasping, that is the karma. It's the very action that creates the conditions for our future suffering.
So, let's recap. We have the symptom, dukkha, and we have the diagnosis, tanha. Is the condition terminal? Well, here comes the third noble truth, which is the doctor's good news. Not at all. A cure is absolutely possible, and the prognosis is excellent. That cure is called nirvana. And just like dukkha, this word is widely misunderstood. Its literal meaning is the extinction of thirst. And this is such a crucial point. You don't cure the symptom, you extinguish the cause. Nirvana isn't some magical place you go to. It's the profound freedom you realize when that constant nagging craving finally stops.
Let's just clear up a few myths right now, because this is so important. Nirvana is not a heaven you go to after you die. It's not about wiping yourself out of existence. After all, we just saw there's no permanent self to wipe out in the first place. It's not a negative void. Instead of a place, think of it as the ultimate truth. It's not a result you achieve, but a reality you finally awaken to. It's absolute freedom.
And maybe the best part of all is that this isn't some promise for a future life. The doctor's cure is available right here, right now. It's described as a state of perfect mental health, a deep, unshakable peace and happiness that is totally possible for us right in the middle of our ordinary, messy lives.
So, the obvious question is, how do we actually get there? Well, that brings us to the fourth noble truth. This is the doctor's practical, step-by-step treatment plan. This is the prescription for ending dukkha, the Noble Eightfold Path.
This is the regimen, and it's basically a complete guide to living. It all starts with right understanding, really grasping these four noble truths we're talking about. From there, it flows into your inner world with right thought, and then outward into your life through right speech, right action, and right livelihood. The last part is all about training the mind itself through right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Now, the doctor can diagnose the illness and write the prescription, but at the end of the day, the patient has to be the one to take the medicine. This final part of the teaching really emphasizes the deep personal responsibility that each of us has for our own well-being.
The Buddha was an incredibly practical teacher, and this famous parable shows it perfectly. A man gets shot with a poisoned arrow, but he refuses to let anyone pull it out until he knows who shot him, what their family name is, what kind of wood the bow is made of, and while he's busy asking all these questions, he dies. The point is so clear. Don't get lost in endless speculation. Deal with the urgent problem right in front of you, the reality of suffering, and just pull out the arrow.
This quote just powerfully sums up the whole spirit of the teaching. There's no external savior who's going to do the work for you. The path to freedom, to extinguishing that thirst, is a path you have to walk for yourself. As it says right there, you are your own refuge.
And what's so cool is that this is not a system of blind faith. The teaching is described as ehipassika, which is a direct invitation. It means come and see for yourself. It's a challenge to investigate, to question, and to verify these truths in your own experience, not to just believe them because someone told you to.
And we'll end with this powerful question, a metaphor the Buddha himself used. He said, his teaching is like a raft. You build it for one purpose, to get you from this shore of suffering to the other shore of freedom. But once you've crossed, what do? Do you carry the raft on your back for the rest of your journey? Or do you leave it behind, grateful for its help, and walk on, totally free? The ultimate point seems to be liberation itself, maybe even from the very ideas that helped you get there.